Okay, so these are actual nature sounds, not the TV ones. This is, I'm sure you're hearing the floods of Pacific Northwest, the May 22 floods of the Pacific Northwest. You're hearing them here today. So I'm sure that's what they got going on. It is crazy. And plus I looked at the weather and, you know, it said something about like partly cloudy or something. Then we just had this torrential downpour that has not stopped. And the last time my yard flooded, my yard wasn't even flooded this bad when the rivers washed out. My yard is like a total pond. It's mental. And it was a pond within like an hour of the raining. So, I don't know. What I do know is when the government campaigns for, you know, climate change and gun control, they take it very seriously. And, you know, the concern to me that I think people need to really be aware of is, you know, they're just getting started on the fires. I mean, they're obviously going in on the floods right now. And, you know, whatever, I mean, they even create earthquakes. They create hurricanes. They create, I mean, they do their damn, they give it hell to get some volcanoes going. And they have gotten some. I don't think to the degree that they were hoping for, but they definitely have gotten some. And, but my concern is that as people, like around here right now, in an emergency situation, where do people go? They're going to go to the camps. What an easy way to fill the camp, huh? Real easy. And then all of a sudden it's, well, you want food? Oh, you want this? Oh, you want that? Oh, you want out of here? No, you've already been exposed. Oh, no, you're stuck in here. I mean, they showed us in the movies. I mean, we're just in a movie. So, and they've showed us. I mean, and that's what they will do. And, you know, it's like escape. And to me, people just need to be aware, you know. You have to be able to think, okay, so if everything goes crazy, do I go towards the city for resources? No, that's what they want. They want you to go towards the city for resources, because then there's going to be all sorts of rules to resources. And how compliant are you? I mean, everything they're doing is to hurt us. I've been talking about how they've been hurting people, how they've been destroying businesses. Like the whole thing of since 2020, how many people have lost their small businesses, because that's what it's all about. It's to take everything away from us. Take away our homes, take away our property, take away our belongings, take away everything until we're all just back to having, you know, a bag that we can carry with us. And it can't even be that heavy because we're not going to have cars because we can't afford the gas. And that's the world that they want, us just completely dependent on them because we think they're the suppliers of the resources. It's like they don't supply the resources. They are manipulating it. The resources come from nature. They come from Creator, God, whatever you want to think of it, how it goes. But there's the split again. You know, resources, besides the fact that when the resources that they supply us are manipulated, they're lab created. I mean, they're wanting just, some of the stuff is so sick. The thing with you can buy your favorite celebrities' body parts because they grow them in a lab with their cells and stuff. I mean, if that doesn't get people to understand about the clones and what they've got going on here, like they are, this is a completely manipulated world. And it's just is so crazy because how many people think this is real life? Like, this is life. This is it. This is real life. Life sucks. All these mottos. You know what I was thinking about too yesterday? I was thinking about, you know, what happened to mottos like, oh, shit happens. You know, life's full of lessons and we're here to learn. What happened to that kind of stuff? I don't think it fits in with the narrative of beating us down enough, you know. I mean, if we feel a little bit good about ourselves, we may not go on antidepressants. And that's, you know, I mean, They can't survive without us going on antidepressants, without us buying their fake food. You know, it's all they got going. They're snake oil salesmen. They're just peddlers. And they don't even have good products. It's all just a bunch of bullshit. But when look at how they manipulate the market too. Like, you could go before to a mom and pop shop or whatever, and you could buy something of quality. And then they run those businesses out of sale and just sell us bullshit. They sell us broken down, you know, plastic shit. That's all they have to offer. They can make us believe they're gods. They can make people believe they're gods and worship their science and believe in whatever they say and their vision for our future and stuff. But, you know, it's in your soul has to be the one who says, hey, this is something up here. This isn't right. You know, it's so much that connection to mind, body, spirit to start seeing the truth in the world. And another important thing is to just question things. And, you know, important factor is you have to release your biases. You can't have biases against certain people, certain groups of people, or any generalized kind of group where people just, they're all the same, you know, and I hear it all the time. Like, these people, but I'm not saying anybody's wrong or whatever. I just think that they've been trained and programmed for how they look at things, how they divide up into categories, and they don't know how to be individual. Just like, you know, it is such a part of your development to become your own best you, to just develop yourself, you know, and it's a creation in progress to become who and what you want to be. But they don't want you to work on that, you know. They want you to sit in pain and suffering and fear, whining and crying about how hard life is. And, you know, hopefully somebody in your peer group ends up, you know, suiciding out, you know. That's all they want. They want drama and trauma. They want us to be beat down. They want us to not ever feel good. And I know it has something to do with this luge or whatever, this harnessing our energy that we put out when we're in trauma. I mean, look at how they, you know, they do that in kids so they can drink it. I saw, who is it? Somebody big, you know, somebody out there just died. And they're 96 years old. And the clip I saw about it, they were showing the clip of this person saying how you live forever, that they drink, I'm pretty sure they said blood, but they could have said, there's certain thing that they drank in their wine glass that carried a lot of the stuff that is what these people believe all the way back, where some of these, royals or whatever you want to call them would bathe in blood. You know, they would take baths in it, and they would get these young slave girls, a lot of time, you know, orphans, homeless, people who are kind of in the corners are the ones that are targeted, and always have been. You know, it's always been a dangerous thing to be a child without parents protecting you, or be a woman without a man protecting you, because they've preyed on these people. And so, yeah, I can't remember. I watched a movie about it, and I'm sure I talked about it. It was a while back, and it was a true story. And now I've seen so many things about it, and I can't remember. I think her hashtag name or whatever would be called her slang name or something. I think she's the Queen of Death, or the Death Queen or something like that, if you look up about her. But it was some Duchess or Queen or Royal, whatever, one of these upper crust blue bloods. And she got busted. She killed a whole bunch of people. And her staff had a pretty horrendous end for themselves. But, you know, that's what happens when you screw people over. I mean, look at the guy who gave me the brain injury, you know. He ends up dismembered in a burn pile. So, yeah, I mean, goes around, comes around. And you got to be mindful of what you're putting out because you're bringing it back to you. So, anyways, this person who just died, who's like 96 or whatever, and said he lived off of that stuff because they're vampires. These people are actually, that's where the stories come from, you know, is these old folklore of whatever they would do. And who knows, you know, even back in the day, you know, maybe they had a little double needle thing, like they knew how snake bites works, and they're just like, and then drain the blood, you know. I don't know how it all went down, but I do know that's how these people survive and stuff. I was thinking yesterday, I did this TikTok, and I was like, or it could have been the other day, I don't know, but do you remember the day that you found out that Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock were evil? Because that was like, you know, our all-American sweetheart stars, right? They were supposed to be our, oh, aren't they just the coolest? And, oh my God, they're so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And what makes me so sick is right now how they're putting these certain people just in our face nonstop. Like, oh my God, Sandra Bullock pops up all day long now. She's got some new movie out and they're really pushing it. And her and Channing Tatum, it's like Channing Tatum, you know, he's sold out just like Pete Davidson. I mean, they get so desperate. People become desperate and they think that that's an open door when you get an opportunity and they're willing to do whatever that opportunity, you know, it's like, okay, well, I got to do this. Well, it's only a couple of minutes and then I get millions. You know, I mean, how many people are going to divorce him? I mean, it seems to be an open gate there. Open door to the cabal right here. Just go through here. And, you know, I don't know. I think it's sad. Like, what they, you know, here, you got to prove it to us. We need 10 minutes of you torturing or eating or sexing up or something, this very young person, because that's what we need on film for you. So I don't know. I've been just blown away just through this whole experience, just realizing, you know, how much people really struggle, how much they really are cut off from themselves and have forgotten who they are. You know, forgotten that this isn't real. This is just a place you come to experience. And they're all so caught up in it. And, you know, and then plus what they're willing to do. You know, it's brought the worst out in so many people. And the thing is it's that energetic thing. Remember, what you're putting out comes back to you. So start putting out positive, good things. Start going and doing helpful things. I mean, there's so many things you could do to be helpful in communities and stuff. You know, just like they're trying to herd the older people into the gas hospitals, then you go in and, you know, find some in your neighborhood, help them, you know, with their yard or with whatever they need to do to upkeep their own lives so they can stay independent, because nobody needs to. And just because you're old and you're moving slower and stuff, we all should have the opportunity to live our lives out the way we want. Not controlled in a place, being drugged and abused. So many, oh my gosh, so many older people are just so abused in those places too. I mean, there's nice ones too. There's nice places, but I don't know if you did the numbers. I think most people would... When they put their people in there, they're just not thinking. They're just not seeing. Their mind isn't opened to the whole scenario. It's not open to what's probably going on. They're just trying to, you know, be positive and feel forced. Like, oh, well, there's nothing else to do. I mean, she fell and now the doctor said she's got to go in one. We've got to It's for her own safety. We don't want her to die. Such manipulation, you know. It's just total manipulation, but it's all stuff that people have to learn. And people are going to be going through this stuff. And, you know, it's one traumatic thing after another. And just like yesterday, I don't think I finished my sentence as usual. But, you know, I for one thing, wouldn't be sending my kids to school. For sure right now. I mean, I think they're planning on having some really yippee-ki-yay moments. And it's so crazy, too, how people start arguing, well, we should just make sure the teachers have them, too. Okay, so that's going to stop the shootout? I mean, their objective is murder. So if they've got extra bullets flying, don't you think that's what they want? It's like, you got to think through some of this stuff. You got to know the enemy. So I'm constantly trying to say, know your enemy. Understand your enemy. Like, you got to go at it like that mind hunter. You know, when they had to develop and learn and understand the enemy, when they developed the whole thing behind profiling. You know, you got to profile your enemy. You got to understand where they're coming from and what they're doing and what the objective. You don't add more guns into the school. Like, okay, that's going to solve the problem, because then I guess they probably won't come in there to kill a bunch of kids. No. And, you know, another thing about that is, remember I said that when they hire cops and stuff, they're very picky. You know, not anybody who just wants to be a cop gets to be a cop. You have to follow orders. You have to follow direction. You have to be a yes man. It's part of the job. And so apparently a lot of the parents now who have been speaking out were saying they just were standing down the whole time. They wouldn't do a damn thing. Well, when you've got orders, what are you going to do? They can't go against their orders. If they're told to stand down. And who's to say what they are even being told? You know, you don't know what they're being told. But they're definitely being told stand down. Don't go in there. I mean, this guy had $70,000 pickup and $20,000 worth of arsenal. So, you know, I mean, when you're 18 years old, where do you get that? And, you know, don't forget all of these kids that come from the same place. They're always going for these orphans, wayward, the lost boys, the ones that don't have anybody there for them, the ones that are just out there in the world alone. Oh, look here, I'm here for you. Come with us, we'll help you. And they test on them with drugs, and that's the whole thing. I mean, the Manson family is, you know, prime example. They test on them with drugs. They test on them with programming, mind manipulation. Look at Clockwork Orange. Look at conspiracy theory. The information's all right before us. It's right there. They're telling us all the time. Yesterday, I can't even freaking get through a movie, I'll tell you what. I can't get through anything. Most of my time now is just music or nature sounds and stuff. I don't know. There's something definitely going on with me too. Like I started noticing a couple days ago, I pick things up or I'm holding something, it just falls out of my hand and I can't even feel it there. Today I was walking around, it was like I couldn't feel the floor. I was like, what is going on? Am I leaving my body? What's happening here? So I don't know what, you know, if it's just part of our consciousness realizing and just not being so focused on our senses and stuff. I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm just processing this stuff as it comes and whatever's going on. I don't know. But, did I even finish all the stuff I was saying? Anyways, I wouldn't be going to malls. I wouldn't be going to schools. I wouldn't be going to shopping centers. I wouldn't be going to games. I wouldn't be going to any of that bullshit. Because they're all places that they're going to target. Shopping centers, grocery stores. You can order your food online and go pick up the bags. You don't have to go in the stores because they're going to keep on. Especially, I would stay out of the Walmarts and stuff like that. Because those are big business sellout. I mean, they're part of the cabal. Those places, you know, they closed down all of the other businesses I talked about on my road trip last year to Oregon, and I couldn't even believe the difference in just in like 5 years. It went from all of these cute little shops in small towns to all of a sudden, you know, all this freaking Walmart every 5 or 7 miles, and It's like, oh my God, it's disgusting. It used to be such a cool, because everything was so old-fashioned, like you went into these old fishing towns. But now you get to go to the Walmart City. And I swear I've cut myself off several times. My mind is just all over the place. But I do feel weird. And another thing too is how much stuff I've gotten done in my yard and stuff. I really have created this, like, my own little Shangri-La. And it's so cool because when I started, when I first had my vision, I wasn't sure. And now it's starting to bloom and blossom and grow. And oh my gosh, I just love it so much. And that is what I think is important, to find things that you just enjoy so much, that you love, that makes you happy. Because you got to find your own joy in this place. You know, you got to capture those moments of joy and hold on to them, because this place is dark. It's heavy. And all the time when we were asleep and we didn't realize, we were just, you know, we're just pedaling on a treadmill, you know, getting nowhere. So, but, you know, waking up and seeing why we feel sick, why we couldn't get ahead, why life was so hard, you know, then you're like, oh my God, they're doing this to us on purpose. I was like, oh my God. So it's not just me. They're doing this to us all on purpose. So anyways, that's, I think, a very significant thing to absorb, because it changes everything. It changes your perspective on everything. Oh, which, by the way, I've got company coming, supposedly. We'll see if the washouts, how it goes. I told them to check, but when you check the weather thing, it doesn't even say anything is going on. It's mental. But the last time when I saw the rivers washed out, it was all from being online. It was seeing people showing the water just rushing through their house like a freaking, it was mental. So I'm sure there's got to be washouts, because there was all sorts of roads that were washed out the last time. So, well, I mean, and that's part of their whole thing too, is the isolation. Make it where you can't get to certain places, keep us more apart from each other. You know, it's all part of the game. It's all part of their thing. I don't even know. I feel like I started a bunch of things and I was like, oh, and then I forgot to finish them. Because there was a bunch of things I wanted to finish and say. So stay out of the public places, because that is like target practice for these people. Be aware of what you are taking in, and know, you know, be aware whatever chemicals and toxins, to try and keep as many out as possible. Don't follow. I can't even believe how they keep this Amber and Johnny thing going. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me? That's probably going to be scripted from a movie we're going to see soon too. It's like, the whole thing is so ridiculous. And it's kind of mean. Like, people have to see their own mean side when they keep doing all this stuff, making fun of Amber and stuff. You know, if she is like a sniveling, manipulative, crazy person, it's like, well, she's an unhealed person then. Why would we make fun of somebody who is struggling like that? They're unhealed. They haven't been taught how to heal. I mean, we shouldn't be making fun of anybody who's struggling like that. And the whole thing is just such a show. It's just, I don't know, but it's all a distraction. But I mean, look at how much is just threats. And I think, you know, they're going to keep threatening us, you know, but they're not going to march in on us. That's for sure. They're not marching in as long as they believe that most people have something that's going to defend themselves to these people. You know, especially things that use ammunition and stuff. They don't want to deal with that. Because don't forget, they've got movies too. They've seen what happens in the movies. And they're like, hell no, I'm not going into a gunfight. And so, you know, there's issues with that, because they're going to lose a lot of people real fast. And I think most of the people are going to be on the side of the people. Like, I can't even imagine right now being those cops who were standing down. Like, what the fuck? I was sitting there thinking this morning, like, where they told, like, this is a what do they call those? Like a tactical game. You know, this is a simulation, where this is a practice. Be prepared because we're going to practice. And no, you got to do this. And, you know, because they do that stuff. And then, you know, you have to sign NDEs. You can't talk about it. You can't go and say stuff. So you can't say you were tricked because there's people coming out saying that they've been tricked. And then you're considered a whistleblower. And then you're up for grabs. Red neckties for all. So I think that, you know, it's more than likely that those were told to stand down. It was all, and then they're going to wake up to the fact that they just let a huge murder spree occur. You know, how horrible, how shameful, what is a lot to face. Imagine the gravity of facing that. Oh my gosh. And that's not something that will go away quick, you know. I mean, that's pain and trauma for like 20 families, 20 people attached to all of those people. So you take one person, like if I took myself and I thought of my family unit, how many people are attached to me that would really be in pain and suffering if something happened to me. You know, you figure it would probably be around 20 people or something. Probably most of us have 10 or 20 people that would be in deep sorrow if something were to happen to us. And all of that energy, you see how your energy now, you caused this to occur. Even if you didn't go in and do it, you still participated. You were still on the wrong side of that action. So your energy, and then your energy has affected all those people. So what, 20 times, even if you did 20 times 10, all that energy, for how long that's going to go on. Because it usually takes a couple of years for somebody to get through the really traumatic part of that loss, especially a tragedy, especially something senseless, especially something young like that. Like, that's a lot of pain and suffering. And you just put yourself right there in the middle of that storm. That's what people, until they start understanding about energy and what they create for themselves. You know, if I was told, if I had that job and I was told to stand down, especially unless I had no clue, because remember, it's all by intention too. Like, if you really have no clue, but how many people can forgive themselves when something like that happens? No, it's there for a lot of lessons. A lot of people are going through a lot from one situation. And so I can't imagine ever standing back and watching something go down and not rushing in to help. Like, I think it's our natural instinct to, you know, it's weird though, because you see some of that footage where it shows, I saw footage the other day and it was showing a guy, and he was hiding in the alley, and a kid would walk by, or a small woman or something, somebody who looked like an easy target. He would run out of the alley, grab the person, and then run back into the alley. And it was on a crowded sidewalk. People didn't do a damn thing. They just looked like, well, that's weird. Wonder what he's doing. It's like, oh my God, where is your spidey senses? It's crazy. And in the same kind of idea that I saw this clips of this guy who goes to parks, and he starts talking to the parents, and he says, do you teach your kids, blah, blah, blah. And they're always like, oh yeah, they don't talk to strangers. They run from strangers. And he goes over just immediately, within 2 seconds, he has this kid walking off with them. Every time, right in front of the parents. And the parents are just like shocked. You know, the kids, parents should put their kids to the test, you know. They should set them up like that and see, you know. They need to have these conversations. People need to see. People put trust into governments and, You know, when these crises happen, where are they going to go? To the camps. What happens when the fires start? Are you going to run in? Oh, I got to get all my weapons. They're not going to let them into the camps, you know. So it's like a double whammy for them. It's like, oh, 2 birds, 1 stone. That works out well for us. So get them herded into the camps, and then also take away any protection devices, because and then, you know, I mean, it just goes from there. I mean, I can see where it goes. I mean, I can see it real clearly where it goes. That's not where I'm going. I'm going over to the other reality. I don't want to go to that. I don't want to go to the guillotine reality. I have some creepy shit over there. No, very controlled, it's very dirty and dark and smelly and creepy, and there's a lot of bad energy over there. The other one is hopeful, and, you know, people coming together to create community and that freedom, that being able to be like, okay, I'm going to walk away. Like, they just took this stuff. I'm going the other direction. I'm not going towards them. I'm going the other way. I've got to find a safe place for me and my family. I've got to find a place where we can live freely, you know, and maybe it's in a forest. Maybe it's, you know, people used to build houses out of stones. I've been doing all this stonework all over my yard. People used to go into forests and build their houses out of stone, or chop down trees and build themselves a house, you know, so that they could live their lives the way they wanted. This is a complete, you know, surrender your freedom, surrender your free will to be a part of this reality. Or take a chance, follow nature, follow creator, and go out there and become a part of nature and be a part of that flow to create the world and the life you want. That's how I see it. But, you know, everybody's here for their own experience. I just say every single thing going on, look a lot deeper, you know, really be aware of your enemy. I mean, there's still people on there, you know, screaming and yelling, oh, gun control. They don't even realize anything that's going on. I mean, and they're so outraged. Oh, 19. It's like, well, you're going to get a lot more outraged when you find out that the government did it just to get you to get pissed off. So, you know, it's sad, very sad. Sad to see the truth, but it sure feels better to know the truth. So anyways, I probably, because I'm going to have company, you know, I like to focus on being present in the moment. So I'm going to have company all weekend. So I probably am not going to be on here taping unless, you know, if something big happens. I don't know. I guess I'd go live like it's a news report or something. Otherwise, yeah, we're along for this ride, you know. It's like the, kind of, what was that? Was it at Disneyland, or was it at Six Flags, the Jungle Cruise? And you get on that thing, you know, oh, I love the Jungle Cruise. You go on this boat and go down the river. Now, all of a sudden, a hippo would jump up, and then all of a sudden, there's like natives over there dancing and doing some person hung up and stuff. It's all sorts of fun little things that we go through. That's what we're in right now. We're in the jungle ride. You don't know what's going to be around the next turn. But, you know, just be careful. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. And remember, what's important is you and how you feel about you and your work on you. That's the most important thing going on here. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.